Kogashibo and Akuza were peacefully sleeping through the day. You've never sensed them with such a calm and peaceful aura. At one point, when you checked on them, Akaza was smiling in his sleep, with also a small blush. Kogashibo seemed so at peace, he had a tear near his eyes. As you were training and doing a little bit of rearranging around your house, you got a letter to meet at the Uberishiki mansion for an emergency Hashira meeting. As soon as you got it, you left a small note just in case you'd be back late. Then you ran to the Uberishiki house. You were first to arrive. Then, one by one, the Hashira arrived. Gomei arrived seconds after you did. Is somebody else already here? Good evening. Oh my god. I'm just gonna say his name because I can't say his last name. Or his first name. I can't. Gomei. Sorry. Oh, Lin-chan. It's always a pleasure to hear you. How have you been lately? I've been good. Thank you for asking. What about you, Gomei? I think I'm saying his name right. I'm gonna feel stupid if I'm not. Well, with recent events, it has been very upsetting. Now, how it crushes my heart. Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that. But let's keep our heads up high. We are going to win. We just need to do our best and have confidence. I've always admired that aberration of yours, Lin-chan. It's truly beautiful. Then someone else entered, and it was Michiro. Miyu-kun, Yin-chan. He ran over to you and gave you a hug. You then held his face in your hands. He was blushing, a very bright shade of red, 'cause of how close you were. How badly he just wanted to come closer and kiss you. How are you, Miyu-kun? You were heavily injured and also poisoned. I feel fine, even though I'm not my full self. Sorry, I yawned. Well, I have faith you'll be better in no time. You then hugged him, and he just embraced your warmth. Then, okay. Sanemi walked through. Good evening, Shinagawa-sen. Hey. He then sat down. So I heard that during the fight that you made a healing ointment for Michiro during that fight. Yes, I did. I did help. It did help us during the fight. Do you have stuff like that on you all the time? Yeah, I do. I even have some right now. You smiled, putting out the ointment as well as some herbs. Then somebody walked in and hugged you from behind. Yin-chan! Oh, hello, Mitsuri-san. How have you been doing? I've been doing great, though some parts of my body still hurt and I have a bit of a headache. You then poured some of the healing ointment as well as special herbs that helped numb pain. Then you handed it to her. She drank it and stuck out her tongue while saying, Yuck! You softly giggled. When a medicine is bitter, that means it will work better. I guess my head does feel a little better. She then sat down. All the Hashira had arrived, and we waited for the master to arrive. But instead, his wife, Mrs. Uberishiki, arrived. Along with her was the twins, and Kryuka. I'm going to butcher her name. I am a main Uberishiki, and I will represent... Oh my god, I can't say any names. Kayuka Uberishiki as today's Hashira meeting. Due to the master's Kayuka's worsening illness, he is no longer able to arrive before you. He extends his heartfelt apology. We all bowed before her. Understood. I pray from the bottom of my heart that the light of the master's life continues to burn even one day longer, and that Lady Amai's spirit remains strong. She closed her eyes. I am deeply grateful for all you Hashira. Mrs. Ibarashiki went to recall recent events involving the village attack and Nezuko being able to walk in the sun. She said that she will soon be in a full-scale war. Sorry. She also mentioned about marks that appeared on Michiro and Mitsuki's bodies. She asked them if they could tell them the conditions that caused the marks to appear. Apparently, during the Sengo period, the swordsmith who nearly defeated Muzan were the first breathing all manifested a mark, similar to the demonic patterns. She mentioned that many tolerated themselves over why they couldn't manifest the mark. The mark have little to no information. At this time, the first to manifest a mark doesn't even have a rank of a Hashira. Tanjiro was the first to be marked, but when trying to get information on how he got the mark, he was clueless. So, they chose not to pressure it, but since two Hashira have also had it, this awakening. So please, teach us how it was done, Mitsuri and Michiro, Lady Amai asked. Mitsuri was the first to speak up, but when explaining, she wasn't the most clear about her words. Wow, whoa, fwah. Everybody stared at her, kind of like she just said the most ridiculous thing, which she kind of did. She bowed again. I'm deeply sorry. I'd crawl into a hole and disappear if there was one. You went over and comforted her by patting her back. She sat back up and leaned on you, feeling embarrassed. Michiro then decided to speak. I wasn't aware of receiving the mark. When I think about the fight, what comes to mind are a few unusual things. I guess doing those might cause the mark to manifest. I'll tell you what they were. Miyu-kun went to talking. Miyu-kun went to tell everybody about what happened to him as me and him were trapped in the water bubbles. He said he was poisoned and couldn't move. He used a breathing form to slow down the blood circulation and spread the poison. He mentioned the young swordsmith approaching who almost got killed trying to save him, and how his lost memories were returned. He said how was so angry he couldn't control his emotions. He also mentioned that his heart rate was more than 200 beats per minute, but the thing that considered me and Kocho was that his temperature was over 39 degrees Celsius, which is more than 100 and I think 3 degrees, which is really deadly. You could move in such a state? That could have been deadly, Shinobu stated. Things I put in my head on my chin and thought back to that. Now that I think about it, Miyu-kun's body was unnaturally hot when I inspected him, as well as giving him some ointment to hopefully help him recover, or at least not having long-lasting injuries. It was like being put through this is survive? Survival is what separated those who manifested the mark from those who don't. Mrs. Ubershiki asked how Michiro knew his temperature was 39 degrees Celsius, or more than 103 degrees Fahrenheit. He explains at Kocho's that the thermostat said, and he mentioned he felt the same way when he manifested the mark. All of us agreed that we needed to manifest these marks, but before Mrs. Ubershiki left, she told us a concern of what happens when the quirk is manifested. You were now currently hugging Michiro and Mitsuri. They were absolutely in heaven. Gyu got up suddenly, prepared to leave before we all decided that what we were doing. He said that only the 7 of us. Oh yeah, because 2 were retired technically. Of us should talk about it, and he wasn't involved. We all asked him why, and all he responded was, "I'm different from you guys." From this aura, I didn't feel superiority or annoyance. I felt infuriated and a feeling of not belonging. Shinagawa got up thinking he looks down upon us, but as he started walking towards him, I called out to him, "Leave him be, Shinagawa-san." He turned to me and said, "He's a Hashira. He should be a part of this very important discussion." As much as I agree with that statement, I'm afraid we cannot force him to stay and talk about it. Please, we have no time to waste. It's Gyu's choice to stay and have this discussion or leave. Just so you know, Gyu, I will respect anything you choose at this moment. Gomei then clapped his hands, making a loud sound that shook all of us. Then he said, "What Yinshan is correct. Sit, let us continue talking. I have a proposal." I want to give a quick reminder that beyond this point is very much manga spoilers. A lot of it. But if you don't care about these warnings, I will hope you guys enjoy. And bye, lovelies. I love you all so, so much. Mwah.